You do not have to attend an Ivy League school to be an Ivy League student. And what if I told you by the end of this episode, I will be able to provide you with the tools, the steps, and the methodologies that I use to help me outperform graduates that have attended Ivy League schools and to accelerate my career, my income, and my overall influence in my career? Welcome to another episode of the Contagious Culture podcast. My name is Kyle King. I'm your host. And the goal of this podcast is simple: to help you create an ecosystem of academic excellence. Through inspiring conversations, practical steps, and strategies, we empower educators, leaders, and change makers just like yourself, foster trust, collaboration, and help them create academic excellence through providing them with the resources that they need to thrive, not just as leaders in schools or mission driven organizations, but ultimately impacting those that they were called to serve. I had the privilege of attending Alabama A&M University in Normal, Alabama, and I graduated with a degree in finance and international business. And from there, my career began. But it was all of the things that I was exposed to, that I had the opportunity to gain, to learn, people that I was able to connect with, that allowed me to set and plant many of the seeds that help sprout into success that I've been able to achieve today. And this success looks like being able to publish multiple books that have been sold worldwide, having a podcast, the Contagious Culture podcast, that has been seen in hundreds of magazines, been able to been downloaded thousands of times, being featured in countries around the world, and have been able to speak on platforms around the country on contagious culture and how we create an ecosystem of academic excellence, but not just the contagious culture work. This has allowed me to build multiple companies, empower thousands of educators as well as students across the nation, and have been the youngest dean in the state of North Carolina. But all of these various things are simple, and all of these things are okay. But the biggest thing that it's helped me do is become a better person. Now, we all have our trials. We all have our tribulations. We all have our things and mistakes that we've made and choices that we are not proud of. But ultimately, what the school did for me is to been able to provide me a foundation that I've been able to utilize today. And even in these trials and tribulations, it's been able to provide me with a blueprint on how I can become successful. Now, in school, I was first generation. My parents did not go to college. My older brother and sister did not finish college. And one of the things that I had to realize is, how am I going to take advantage of my college career? I didn't have mentors and all of these individuals to help me to get there. But definitely, once I got there, I had a multitude of coaches and mentors and professors and colleagues that without them, I am not sure on where I would have been. So the goal of this podcast episode is not just for students, but it's also for leaders to help you understand how, through some of the experiences that I've been able to gain, how can you as a leader create and multiply and duplicate and mirror some of these experiences to be able to create student leaders, to be able to create the next doctor, the next entrepreneur, the next thought leader, and the next change maker from your institution that you're potentially leading as well. So when I got to Alabama A&M University, I transferred there from another institution, a liberal arts school in Virginia, and I was there. My first day in Alabama ever was my first day on campus. And how I got there at the last minute was I knew one of the board members, and he was connected to a mutual friend of my parents. And he was like, look, if you decide to come here, it's going to be an amazing experience. We're going to take care of him and he'll be able to thrive here. And I did. And because of that relationship, it allowed me to come there. I was able to run Division I track as a walk-on, and then ended up getting a scholarship to be able to run track. And once I got there, I was amazed in how a historically Black college and university and HBCU embraced me, not just as another student, not just as another person of color, but as someone that was truly committed to making the most out of my education. From those experiences, I was able to serve on a business case study competition that competed at the University of Alabama Business School. I was able to travel to Tennessee and do another case study competition through Tennessee Valley Authority company that was sponsoring it. From that was received job offers as well as internship offers. Um, I was able to travel to Houston, Texas, and work on the thickness of reduced gravity, the thickness of crystals under reduced gravity elements at NASA. And we went on a zero gravity flight, and we were testing this experiment as a part of the chemistry department that we had worked on months leading up to this opportunity. I studied abroad in Ghana and had the opportunity to work within the economic sector, within the educational sector, and connected with so many individuals. And I still keep in contact with them today, and we're working on a plan to build a school in outside of Accra, Ghana. I had the opportunity to intern and with BMW in Spartanburg, where their manufacturing plant was, and I worked on, some of the projects that in the finance department. So I was able to see the cars being built. I was able to see the cars coming off, literally coming off of the assembly line. So just a few of these opportunities were resulting in job opportunities, potential internships, relationships that I still have to this day. But one of my best opportunities that came as a surprise, to be honest, was my opportunity to travel to Fort Collins, Colorado, and work with the United States Department of Agriculture, or as we know it, the USDA. I worked with APHIS, which was outside of Fort Collins, Colorado. And I remember my manager at the time, John Eisman, someone that I highly respect, someone that truly helped me become the professional that I am today, someone that has become an ally, someone that I regard as a leader that I would want to emulate and imitate myself after. And again, once I graduated college, received an additional offer from the USDA. Now, all of these experiences were great, but it's all of the non-work related experiences that truly helped me become the man that I am today, whether that was Mr. Clayton Gibson, who was the VP of finance at our school once I graduated, but served as one of the accounting professors, taking me under his wing and mentoring me throughout all of college. Whether it was Dr. Dell Smith, who is now a CEO of a major organization, Aclonite Health, and he was the dean of the College of Business at the time when I was there. And he continued to expose me to not just opportunities on campus, but business philosophy, the importance of integrity, what leadership competencies are. And he helped me and created this entrepreneur and this business owner that you've been able to see today. And through these various conversations in the marketing department, in the chemistry department, or even in the student services department, and teaching us how to introduce ourselves, how to interview, how to conduct business conversations, how to dress, and, from how tailored blazers are supposed to fit, or what tie color is supposed to match with the blazer, and the socks and the shoes that you're supposed to be wearing. I learned how to become a man and how to become a professional at this institution. And I would be remiss if I went my whole career not giving credit to that institution, but also not being able to create an opportunity to teach the various 4 topics that I actually wrote in my first 3 books, the Mission Plan series, the Mission Plan, the Decision, the Mission Plan, the Discovery, and the Mission Plan, the Destiny, that is now being utilized in high schools and colleges around the country. And I broke down 4 key components to help you ultimately knock out your college experience or your school experience. And as this conversation evolved, as the content evolved, I started working with students on these 4 different components to best maximize their school experience. So I want you to listen from a student experience, yes, or share this with a student that you know. But I also want you to listen to this from a leadership perspective so that you can understand how creating these types of opportunities and understand these four key components can not just help you become a better leader, but can also help you expose students to opportunities that will transform the rest of their lives, but will also help them transform the lives of others. The four components that we're going to talk about today are: number one, realizing your destination. Number two is optimizing your experience. Number three is minimizing your oppositions. And then number four is maximizing your gifts, talents, and your skills. If I'm looking to my right, we have notes up here because I want this to be the best possible experience. If you're listening to this on the audio or the video, I hope you're able to take some notes or come back to this episode, like, subscribe, and share this episode so that you can be able to maximize the content that's going to be shared today. When we think about realizing your destination, which is step one, I do believe, and I've heard this quote by George Achampong, who's a financial advisor, author, and all things wealth building. He quoted, "You can't meet what you've never measured." And I believe that. And if we're looking at losing weight or we're looking at building wealth, it's the same metric. We have to measure potentially calorie count or our expenses. And it's the same that's true when we're maximizing the experiences that are set in front of us. Number one is we have to define who you are now. And how we do that, there's a multitude of strategies out there to be more self-aware or understand. But to keep it simple for you, I want you to perform a keep, start, and stop analysis. As you look at your life, what are things that are working? What are things that you should keep doing? Things that have worked for you in the past, things that have helped you be successful, things that have helped you remain productive, actions or activity that has led for great opportunities that you've received or resulted in success in some type of way. On the flip side, what are things that you should stop doing? Things that haven't worked, things that have led to failure or distractions or anxiety or overwhelm or stress. But the third piece is critical. What are things that you should start doing? Things that you've learned. Opportunities to start things is so fun to me. And I'm always thinking and always reflecting and always auditing my life in a way to ask myself, well, Kyle, what's working? What's not working? But what are some things that I've learned that I should start implementing? Whether that is praying in the morning before I open up my computer, or before I go on my run, stretching, or while I'm on my run, rather than listening to music, I should maybe start listening to podcasts or audiobooks so that I can be learning, reading while I'm running, and I can double or what we call habit stacking from the book by James Clear, Atomic Habits. So just a quick audit. Take a quick audit as you think of where you are now. What should you keep doing? And I want you to write down maybe one or two things. What are things that you should start doing? Write down one or two things. And then what are things that you recognize are not providing results or producing results? So what are things that you should stop doing? As we continue to expound on realizing our destination, I want you to then define who you want to be. And there's one thing to understand who we want to be, and we're actually committed to it, becoming that. There's another thing, which 90% of us are in, is we define who we want to be. So let's say I want to be a professional soccer player, or I want to be a doctor, or I want to be a successful author, all of these different things. And we don't understand the responsibilities that are necessary to become that. If you want to be a professional soccer player, then you have to practice. You have to potentially watch film. You have to potentially be in shape and run and do push-ups and sit-ups and all of these various things. If you want to be a doctor, well, you have to go to med school. You have to go to residency. You have to graduate college. You have to get into college, right? So when we think about what we want to be, and not just when we grow up, but when we think about the person that we want to be in 1 to 5 years from now, or 15 years from now, what are some of the responsibilities that are necessary that you commit to in order for you to become that person? As we expound on that, you need to now decide what needs to be done. What do I have to gain, remove, or sculpt? What do I have to gain or receive in a sense so that I can actually grow in this area? Maybe I have to gain coaching. Maybe I have to gain mentoring. Maybe I have to gain some weight so that I can be able to compete at this weight class. What are things that we need to remove? What are distractions that are minimizing you? Maybe I have to spend less time watching TV and playing video games and actually do dribbling drills or read books or understand these specific concepts. So defining who we are, defining where we want to be, and then deciding what needs to be done in order to be able to accomplish these specific goals. And what I think is most important of this list is the fourth, which is understanding your why, writing it down and letting it drive you on a day-to-day basis. I want to be the father that my kids are proud of. I want to be the son that my parents can look at and are proud and okay when they're preparing to go to the Lord, that they provided their son with all of the gifts and talents and resources that they could, and trust that I'm going to lead this family name in the right direction. I want to be someone in the community that has truly made an impact, where our name actually holds some form of weight, and not from an arrogant sense, but someone that is highly regarded and highly respected in my community. I truly want to change lives. I want to help students in schools. I want to help educators in the educational industry. I want to speak to as many people that I can and share my testimony. So as a part of realizing your destination, we have to first start by defining who we are, defining who you want to be, deciding what needs to be done, and then letting your why drive you. Once we've been able to set that foundation, as we're maximizing the school experience, now it's time to optimize, because it's hard for us to optimize before the level up happens. And we have to level up, and we have to clear our land, and we have to understand so that when we optimize our experience, now we're ready. I said something years ago, and it says, your presence will get you in the door. Your presence will get you to the door. Your mouth will get you in the door. Your excellence will keep you there, and your creation and innovation will allow you to open up doors for others. Let me say that again. Your presence will get you to the door. Your mouth will get you in the door. Your excellence will keep you there, and your creation and innovation will allow you to open the doors for others. As we approach optimizing our experience, identify key players, programs, or projects that you need to be a part of. Who is who on your campus, whether that's in school, within your organization? Who is the who on your college campus? Who is the who? Who are the players? Okay. Then what are some of the programs that will help you gain exposure? For me, I recognize internships were the opportunities. I recognize there were other, like me speaking at the Black Tie Gala, or certain colleges had certain experiences that other colleges just didn't have. They had access to opportunities. They had access to alumni. They had access to various things that other schools didn't. So I wanted to be where all of the opportunities were, so that I could gain the best possible exposure and experiences. And then when you think about what projects are important to the community or to your campus, and you need to be serving in those specific areas, you need to align every opportunity to the what you want to be able to accomplish in the future, whether that is interning before you become an employee, whether that is mastering, you pitching people on who you are, whether that is, again, like I said earlier, how studying abroad truly changed my life, from changing my perspective and how I viewed people and how I viewed myself. What are opportunities that you can go get? Who are the people that you need to connect with? What are the programs that will allow you to have exposure? In order for us to move forward and maximize our opportunities, maximize our experiences, it requires us to optimize ourselves. All right. Step 3, minimizing your oppositions. Relationships are the breadcrumbs to your destiny, but the wrong ones will be the breadcrumbs to your demise. Who are the people that you are connected to? There's a saying that if you have four friends that are broke, that you're bound to be the fifth one. If you have four friends that went to jail, you're bound to be the fifth one. If you have four friends that are liars, you're bound to be the fifth one. And it's interesting because environment is more powerful than genetics. And if you have a tall brother and a rich brother, or a tall sister and a rich sister, you're more likely to be rich than to be tall. And it's so interesting because it's who you are around. What are the conversations that you're having with your colleagues and friends and relationships? What are the things that you're doing and interested in? And do these activities, habits, choices, behaviors align with realizing your destination and who you want to be in the future? Relationships drive results, and perspective drives performance. So when you accept where you're going in the future, it requires you to reject where you are in the present. Kyle 1.0 had to die before Kyle 2.0 was born. And what that looks like is Kyle 1.0, cut corners, didn't honor commitments, wasn't honorable in decisions, manipulated, and all of these various things to get by. That person had to die once I started realizing the responsibility that leadership required. The things that I needed to kill, the things that I needed to stop, the things that I needed to start, and who I needed to become. Your mental health matters. So, and I talk about this often on the Contagious Culture podcast about congruency. When there's alignment in your life and your responsibilities and your actions align with who you are becoming and where you are going, then I can guarantee that there's going to be a sense of peace and pride and freedom that you show up with on a day-to-day basis. And I want that person to show up as you're minimizing your oppositions that are in front of you. So assess your people, assess your performance, and assess your actions so that you can understand how out of alignment and disconnected you are and what you need to minimize in order to step forward, maximize your gifts, your talents, and your skills. In my life, I've been fortunate to learn how to create community around 4 C's. 4 C's. My church community, community service community, my classmates or colleague community, and then my company, right? And what my company is my relationships, okay? What do you need to involve yourself with in order for you to create community that will allow you to hold yourself accountable to becoming that person? Then once you have your community, what does your follow-up look like? Whether that's on a monthly coffee chat or quarterly luncheons or bringing everyone on the same call and you're just updating people on what you're doing, or a weekly phone call. What does your follow-up look like? What does it look like? I want you to commit to building relationships that matter, building relationships that are meaningful, and building relationships that can motivate you to becoming the person that you were destined to become. What does that look like? Where are your people? You cannot do this work alone. You cannot come here and realize your destination without understanding where you are, where you're going, and what responsibilities are necessary for you to become those people. It's hard for you to optimize your experience if you're not measuring or don't have measures in place for you to understand how far we are from where we're going or how close we actually are. It's hard for us to minimize oppositions if we're not willing to be honest with ourselves on what's stopping us from being successful. And it's hard for us to maximize our talents, maximize our gifts, maximize our skills if we haven't created community that can hold us accountable. In order for you to become the student, the leader, the change maker that you are destined to become, it's important for you to understand these 4 components that we've talked through today. If you need support, if you have questions on any of these 4 perspectives, let us know. Comment below. Share the podcast with someone that you know and let them ask us questions as well. In the link below, we're going to give you a copy of the mission plan, the decision, discovery, and destiny. We want you to be able to maximize your experience. So if you're a student, if you're a student leader, if you're someone that even serves students, we want to get you a copy in your hand. So click the link below, put in your email, and let us send you a copy. Look, I'm so thankful for you joining us today on the Contagious Culture podcast. My name is Kyle King. I'm the host. And as we conclude, I want you to ask yourself this one question. What kind of culture am I spreading? Culture is in everything and is in everywhere. Make yours this week worth catching. We'll see you all next episode.